Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Sarah Platt, and welcome to today's webinar, Child Nutrition Updates and Reminders for December 2024. This webinar is being recorded and will be posted on our website in the near future. Our agenda today is to go over reminders and deadlines, any recent USDA policy memos, upcoming and prior recorded training opportunities. And then we're also going to spend some time talking about allowable milk substitutions for non-disability reasons in school meal programs. And there will be time for question and answers at the end. So starting off with reminders and deadlines, in order to open up the annual order for school year 26 for the USDA food program, districts have to update both their FDP sponsor application and delivery location sheets in CNP Web. This is done in program year 2026. It's really important that you are in the correct year. And the deadline for doing this was this past Friday, December 13th. So if this has not been completed, please get this done ASAP. And then when it is done, Perry will be able to release the annual survey, hopefully in January or February. Another reminder of the on-site monitoring requirement. This must be completed each year prior to February 1st. This is a requirement for all programs for NSLP, National School Lunch Program, and SBP, School Breakfast Program. This is a requirement if you have more than one school participating. For FFVP, Fresh Fruit and Vegetable Program, and the After School Snack Program, this is a requirement whether you're operating, if it's one site or multiple sites, you must do this on-site monitoring. There are forms available on our website that you can use to document this process, and you just need to keep them on file. And then when you receive an administrative review, this is something that we take a look at. So now is a great time to get this requirement taken care of prior to February 1st. And another reminder for edit checks. Each month you are required to complete an edit check before filing your claim. These compare your daily meal counts by eligibility, or if you're a special provision school, your total daily count, with enrollment and attendance adjusted enrollment. And it's looking for patterns or any questionable numbers so that you can make sure your claim is correct before filing. If you have an electronic point of service system, your system may generate a report for you if you have a module that does reports. Otherwise, if you're a manual system or you have an electronic system without these reports, you would complete the edit check manually using a form that's available on our webpage for you to use. But again, this is a requirement. You want to keep a copy of it with your monthly claim documentation. And I also wanted to make sure you are aware of a new resource available from Team Nutrition. The final rule that we've talked about in previous trainings allows schools the option to offer grains, meat alternate, or a combination of both at breakfast. This is a 20-page training guide that shows school nutrition professionals how to offer meat and meat alternates at school breakfast. It gives menu planning ideas, crediting information, sample menus, and a lot of other great information. The link to access this resource is available on the website that's on our screen. And for new policies, USDA released a policy memo SP05-2025 called Guidance for Accepting Processed Product Documentation for Meal Pattern Requirements. Programs must maintain documentation of how food items contribute to the meal pattern. That's nothing new. If a processed item cannot be found in the food buying guide, then you must obtain documentation from the manufacturer, not from your distributor, your vendor, but from the manufacturer of the product itself. The purpose of this memo is to provide additional information and clarification about the child nutrition or CN label, the watermarked CN label, and the manufacturer's product formulation statement, or PFS. You can find a copy of this memo on our website. We also have a variety of recorded trainings available on our website. First, the November Child Nutrition Update and Reminder has been posted. And then we've also updated a few of our other trainings, including an overview of school nutrition programs, school breakfast program meal pattern requirements, the National School Lunch Program meal pattern requirements, as well as offer versus serve in both the National School Lunch Program and School Breakfast Program. Again, the link to find those programs is on the screen. It's under the training section of our website. On November 14th, USDA held a webinar for child nutrition programs on serving halal and kosher observant students and how kosher and halal foods fit into child nutrition meal patterns. More information to access this training is available on the screen as well. And some upcoming events that you might be interested in. Keep in mind, registration for these events is in the Thursday update. We have a local foods training with the Good Crust on January 8th from 9 to 1. This will be held in the child nutrition classroom at our office. And folks who attend this training are eligible to receive the extra $500 in state local food fund reimbursements. Any questions about that training, you can contact Katie Knowles. A webinar on completing your school year 2026 FDP annual order will be on January 14th at 1:30, where Terry will go over the steps that you need to take in order to complete your annual order for next school year. We're also having a financial webinar on creating a child nutrition budget on January 16th at 1:30. This webinar is intended for new managers and directors, and you will review basic tools for developing a child nutrition budget. Our January child nutrition update and reminders will be on January 27th at 1:30, where we'll review key updates and reminders, and the training topic will cover the importance of inventory. And finally, there's a Serve Safe class and exam at Bucksport High School at their library on Tuesday, February 18th and 19th. This class is for school food service and CACFP staff only, and notice that there is a fee to attend this training and exam. And now we're going to talk about allowable milk substitutions for non-disability reasons in school meal programs. So what we're talking about now will not apply to cases where the student cannot consume milk due to a disability which affects their diet and you have a medical statement. We're only talking about non-disability reasons. Let's start by reviewing the milk requirements in the National School Lunch Program and School Breakfast Program. Cow's milk is a required component in child nutrition programs because of all the nutrients that it provides. For both breakfast and lunch, you need to offer 1 cup or 8 ounces of fluid cow's milk for all grade groups. In school meal programs, the milk that's offered must be pasteurized and have vitamin A and D at the levels specified by the FDA. And schools must offer at least 2 types of milk that is fat-free or low-fat. It can be flavored and unflavored. However, unflavored milk must always be offered. And the idea behind offering a variety is that because so few kids are drinking milk, hopefully we can increase the chance that they're actually selecting a type that they like and will actually consume it by having more than 1 type available to them. Making accommodations for non-disability requests is optional. However, it is good customer service to do so as long as the request is reasonable. To do this, documentation is required and it needs to be kept on file, and it includes a written statement from the child's parent or guardian, and the request should identify the reason that they're requesting a cow's milk substitute, and brand-specific requests do not need to be followed. There are 2 types of substitutions that are allowed by USDA for non-disability reasons. The first is a lactose-free milk. This product still is cow's milk, but with the lactose removed. So it's typically used in cases of lactose intolerance. It should not ever be used in cases of a dairy allergy. Written documentation is not necessarily required just because it's still cow's milk, so you're still within meal pattern. However, since it's more of a specialty product, it may be more expensive, it's still fine to request documentation. You may still want to do that. And the other only allowable milk substitute for non-disability situations, when you have that written request from the parent or guardian, is a non-dairy milk substitute that meets USDA's nutrition standards for fluid milk. So it's important to note here that not all brands of non-dairy milk meet this criteria. And as I just mentioned, if choosing to offer a fluid milk substitute for non-disability reasons, you must use a commercial product that meets the nutrition standards that are listed on the screen here. Cow's milk is a meal component because of the nutrient package that it provides. Therefore, by following these standards for a substitute, we're ensuring that children receive the important nutrients that are found in cow's milk. When looking for a substitute, you will need to compare nutrition facts label with cow's milk and the product that you're looking for to this chart to make sure that the product meets or even exceeds the amount listed here for all nutrients. There are many products that do not meet this criteria. So again, you have to do a comparison to make sure the product you want to bring in is compliant. Last I knew, there are only certain soy milks that meet this criteria, but a lot of the other non-dairy beverages such as oat or rice or almond are not compliant. If you do decide to allow milk substitution requests for non-disability reasons, all requests for the allowable substitute must be granted if requested in writing. So for example, what I mean by that is if you choose to provide an allowable brand of soy milk at a parent's request, that allowable brand of soy milk must be available for any other student whose parent or guardian makes that request for a milk substitute. The allowable substitute may only be available to students with a written request on file, not to all students. Without the written request, fluid milk substitutes do not credit as the milk component in reimbursable meals and the after-school snack program, and the cost would be considered an unallowable expense for the school nutrition program. You may not charge a student extra for the milk substitute when taken as part of their reimbursable meal and when documentation from the parent is on file. However, if you are offering the product a la carte and the milk substitute meets Smart Snack guidelines, then you can price it accordingly so that you are covering all of your costs associated with providing that item. So except for lactose-free or reduced milk and allowable milk substitutes, you cannot substitute any other beverage for non-disability reasons. So for example, beverages that are not allowed include juice, water, fluid milk substitutes that do not comply with USDA's nutrition standards, such as almond milk, rice milk, cashew milk, and some brands of soy milk. That concludes our training on allowable milk substitutes for non-disability reasons. And we have time for questions. If you have any, feel free to put them in the chat box. Q&A box. Q&A box. Great. Well, if you think of questions after the fact, feel free to reach out to me via email or phone, and we can work through specific scenarios, or I'm happy to answer any questions you have. So thank you all so much for your time today, and I hope you have a great week.